Hey there, folks. If you're watching this, we're just about a day away from the biggest weekend extravaganza of all time. You know what it is. It's WrestleMania. And if you check me on my stream, which is twitch.tv slash XenoGamezTV, you definitely know that I'm also a wrestling fan. I got involved in pro wrestling before. And I've also made the announcement about doing a tier list on my channel, but unfortunately, I haven't been feeling very well to be able to go live, be able to do this, but I definitely want to be able to have a tier list ready just in case for the biggest event of every year. That is, of course, WrestleMania. So basically, what I'm definitely going to be doing is ranking these WrestleManias based on a tier list of S all the way to F. Yes, WrestleMania does at times have a very, very bad show, but it's not all the time. I know some of them are good, several of them are amazing, others are okay. You know, it's very something to be able to get through, and the others are pretty bleh. And I apologize if you're hearing my dog right now, because we are having guests over. So we're going to be doing this based off their tier list. It's my own personal opinion. So if you have any opinions of your own, the tier list that you feel like do deserve a spot up, spot down, or any other reasons, please comment it on the page below. You can also feel free to be able to subscribe to the channel for more gaming content, more tier lists down the line, and in the future ranking lists as well. I am actually getting some footages for the Street Fighter DLC, so stay tuned on that one. That could be coming up either sometime around June. All right, so let's get this started. So first off, WrestleMania 1, and yeah, these aren't looking that good, but I do have a cheat sheet that could be able to help me out. WrestleMania 1 is very easy. Put it down the line, we're going to call it a C show. Is it the best wrestling show of all time? No. However, it's the starting point of WrestleMania. It's the mixture of pop culture along with big names like Hulk Hogan, Roddy Piper, Tito Santana, Andre the Giant. There weren't any title changes, if I recall. I think the only title change was the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov winning the tag titles. That's about it. They even got Bruno Sammartino to manage his son, David Sammartino. Bruno Sammartino, why could they not put in Bruno Sammartino, the man that sold out Madison Square Garden for over 10 years as world champion? Why not have him in a match with his son or against Brutus Beefcake? But it was really good. Most people would definitely remember it for the Cyndi Lauper and Wendy Richter in the Women's Championship and the main event, which is a pretty bizarre main event, given that it's a tag team match. But Hulk Hogan, Mr. T against Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper, three of those guys having a main event. And well, out of those three, only one would be able to main event in the future. It's just crazy. But down the line, we're just going to say it. WrestleMania 1 is a C. All right, so we're going to go with WrestleMania 2. And, you know, the deal with WrestleMania 2, it's not a good show. You're only there for the main event, which is Hogan versus King Kong Bundy. Steel cage match. It's held in 3 different locations and on a Monday. But, you know, I am going to be very kind to WrestleMania 2. I'm going to give it a D. Because thankfully they haven't done this yet. This is the first and hopefully only time that WrestleMania is going to be held on a Monday. The only time they're going to held it in Nassau Coliseum Chicago, and Los Angeles, that's right, Long Island, did get a WrestleMania pay-per-view, which is crazy. And not many of the matches were good. Roddy Piper versus Mr. T was bad. Chicago had the, I believe, battle royale of wrestlers and NFL players, which is bizarre if you think about it. But I think the worst one was uh Adrian Adonis against some farmer dude. It's weird. I'm sorry that I got one of their names wrong, but definitely it was rated as the worst match by the Wrestling News Observer. So that's something to be able to be hold a candle to. So it could have been an F, but I'm gonna give it a D. At least they were trying something new and thankfully didn't go back to it. But WrestleMania 3. All right, it's going to be a little bit of controversial for that one. Hold on. I did see Brian Zane review WrestleMania 3 recently, and he gave it a B+. Me personally, I would actually give it an A show. WrestleMania 3 really gives us the WrestleMania feeling, the idea of what WrestleMania is supposed to be. It's been held at, if I'm correct, the Metrodome. I could be wrong. Not many of the matches were good. But of course, there's a lot of great things that has happened. Of course, we did have Roddy Piper's farewell match against again Adonis, but then again I could be wrong. And we get the debut of Brutus the Barber Beefcake after his breakup in his tag team matchup. We did get that amazing Intercontinental Championship between Randy Savage and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Go out of your way to be able to watch that. And also, we do have some celebrities got involved. I know Alice Cooper got involved between, if I'm correct, Jake the Snake Roberts and the Honky Tonk Man. This was around the time the Honky Tonk Man delivered that gruesome guitar shot to Jake Roberts, which sent them down in downward spiral after that. I'm sorry to be able to hear that. And you know, iconic moments. Hulk Hogan versus Andre the Giant. While it's not the best match at WrestleMania, it's fondly remembered for the body slam that Hulk Hogan gave to Andre the Giant. Like so many times, whenever you see WrestleMania highlights, you always see Hogan just giving the body slam to Andre the Giant. Like, talk about a WrestleMania moment. That's where it came from. So yeah, definitely, I would say it's a low A. It's fun to watch. Very fun. You know, compared to the 3 WrestleManias, you got the first one, which is a historical interest, second one, which is curiosity, and the third one, which is kind of like the revelation. Oh yeah, WrestleMania 4. This is a D show. WrestleMania 4 was the only time thus far to have a tournament for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. The last time they will have it would be at Deadly Games in 98, if I'm correct. And it's the show is way too long. To be able to get that satisfying victory of Macho Man winning the big one at the end, you know, we don't have to endure like 20 something matches just to get that satisfying ending. Like, I don't know what were they thinking. Of course, you can have a match or two to break up the tournament, but this one has way too many matches. I think they have like 3 tag team matches and an intercontinental match between the Honky Tonk Man and Brutus Barber Beefcake, and that was way too long. I think there was also the debut of the Ultimate Warrior around this time. But to get that satisfying feeling of Macho Man winning the world title for the first time. And of course, it was tainted because, surprise, surprise, Hulk Hogan was there to ruin the fun. But just to see Macho Man holding the title belt, you could just glaze over it, go to the finals. Or if you're a huge Macho Man fan, you could be able to watch all his matches and how he got to the finals. But really, it's not a good one. It's not a good one. Don't recommend watching it. All right, what do you got here? WrestleMania 5. I gotta take a look at the match card because, of course, this one is a great story of the Mega Powers imploding, and again, another WrestleMania with way too many matches, too much. I'm actually looking at it right now. You have Dino Bravo versus Ronnie Garvin, a grudge match right there. The Brain Busters against Strike Force, which we did get a breakup right there. The debut of Mr. Perfect in WrestleMania and the Blue Blazer, aka Owen Hart. Some of those matches, I would say it's not necessary because some of them are just ending a smash, either double count out, disqualification, or such. But of course, you do have that big story of Hulk Hogan going up against Macho Man Randy Savage, a year-long story, and how twisted the tale is when you've gone from a WrestleMania 4, WrestleMania 5. I'd say that show is a one-match show. I would say it's a C. Looking at it right now, it's a C. It's been held at Trump Trump Casino again, which of course we know Vince McMahon relationship with Donald Trump. Uh, Not much to say about this because the only major title change that's happened was Ultimate Warrior dropping the belt to Ravishing Rick Rude, and the Warrior will be able to get it back. I would say 5 months later at Survivor Series. So yeah, it's a fine show, just not good enough. WrestleMania 6, yes! We're gonna put it as a B show. Truly, it's another one-match show between Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man Randy. I apologize. That's WrestleMania 5. Oh no, it's the ultimate challenge between Hulk Hogan and the Ultimate Warrior. First off, there's a couple of significant things about this. One, it's been held in Toronto for the first time. Two, it's the first time we have a babyface going up against a babyface at WrestleMania. Three, it's the first time we have the world title being defended and the Intercontinental title being defended. Thus, winner takes all. And lastly, it's Hulk Hogan losing at a WrestleMania. 5 straight WrestleManias he has won. The 6th one he has lost. But the crowd was really hot. The show was pretty good. Well, let me take a quick look one more time about WrestleMania 6 and their matches. But I definitely say this is something, the main event, you definitely got to be able to take a look at. Hart Foundation destroying the Bolsheviks, and well, of course we really had that terrible controversial Roddy Piper. We're not going to talk about Roddy Piper in WrestleMania 5. No, we're going to definitely drop that. But yeah, Andre the Giant with the Colossal Connection, with Haku and Bobby the Brain Heenan. Heenan dropping the belts to the Demolition, and we get that glorious send-off of Andre the Giant defying Bobby the Brain Heenan, pushing both Heenan and Haku uh off the moving ring platform that they used to bring in the wrestlers and have wrestlers leave. That final huzzah for good old Andre the Giant. So yeah, it's a B show. Definitely. All right. Next up, let me see if I can get this correct. WrestleMania 7. On one hand, WrestleMania 7 has given us Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter, which is bad. It also gave us Savage versus Ultimate Warrior, which was great. Undertaker's debut, which is phenomenal, and so on and so forth. So weighing it in, I'm definitely going to put it on the C. I'm going to put it in the middle. Because again, Hogan versus Sergeant Slaughter is the worst WrestleMania main event. One of the worst WrestleMania main events. But the undercard really helped it out, especially when you have The Undertaker making his WrestleMania debut and Savage and Warrior in a retirement match, and that beautiful closure with Savage and Ms. Elizabeth. Definitely, I would say the undercard really helped out with WrestleMania 7. Same thing with WrestleMania 8. Another C. WrestleMania 8, not that good of a WrestleMania. You know what? I'll take that back. It's a B. The reason for it is, once again, we're dealing with the main event, which is not good. Hogan versus Psycho Sid or Sid Justice or plain Sid don't matter. Because WrestleMania 8 should have been Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. And I'll be pretty straightforward. WWE dropped the ball on this one. They tried it out in house shows with no results whatsoever, but there's a major difference between a house show and WrestleMania. It's a major difference between a house show and a pay-per-view. A major difference between a house show and Monday Night Raw. And they could have done major billings for that. They could have got major money just for Hogan versus Flair. But for whatever reason, either Hogan didn't want a job, Flair didn't want a job. The household attendance was not good, maybe because Flair was in the southern while Hogan was in the northern, and there's been mixed results elsewhere. We didn't get that. Instead, we got Hogan versus Sid, which surprisingly, Hogan is not the heel because he pulled Sid out of the Royal Rumble match, thus leading Flair to win the Royal Rumble and the title. Yes, the title was up to grabs at the Royal Rumble of '92. But we did get Roddy Piper versus Bret Hart in that beautiful Intercontinental Championship. Savage and Ric Flair in a great redemption match. We did have a couple of good matches here and there, so yeah, it's a B. It's a B. WrestleMania 9, we all know about this one. Only two good matches. First two matches. Everything else ended very poorly or in a schmoz. It's not really a good pay-per-view whatsoever. The main event was underwhelming, and then Hogan coming in to politic his way to be able to win the world title one more time. Yeah, not a good WrestleMania. And it's very sad because this was around the time in which they're trying to push younger athletic wrestlers because of the steroid scandal, but, well, Hogan got to be dicking around with this, okay? So, WrestleMania 9. WrestleMania 10, however, it's an upper B. You got two great matches. Hart versus Hart. The best opener, one of the best openers of all time, between brothers of the Hart family, Brett and Owen. Fantastic. Uh Savage final match was, it wasn't good whatsoever, but it was at Madison Square Garden, so definitely I'll put a uh top markings on that one. It could, if Savage were to have his final match in Madison Square Garden, Chicago, LA, Philadelphia has been another pride of pro wrestling. So those four places, definitely it would have been, it's a good way to be able to go out, so to say. And yes, the ladder match, definitely spectacular. Shawn Michaels versus Razor Ramon in the second official ladder match, first to be held at WrestleMania. So definitely, I'll put it as a B. Plus, we did get that good, heartwarming victory for Bret Hart to lead the new generation, so to say, winning the world title. WrestleMania 11. This is also going to be another D show. Now, hear me out. First off, many people would say that the world title should have gone last. But if you listen to the crowd reaction, they were actually going against Diesel. Shawn Michaels intentionally tried to make Diesel look bad and tried to convince Vince that Diesel shouldn't be champion. What, like, no, in my opinion, I think Lawrence Taylor and Bam Bam Bigelow was the right decision to go last, because you want the crowd to be sent home happy. Okay, at least some New Yorkers, I guess, because this was the only time to be held in Connecticut. You definitely don't want to end on a champion being like booed out of the building. More on that later. So those matches were pretty good, but everything else not really good at all. Undertaker match was very underwhelming. Bret Hart said it was his worst WrestleMania match of all time. So definitely a D show. WrestleMania 12 is going to be pretty much now thinking about it very carefully, I did enjoy 3 matches. We're gonna put it in the B. So WrestleMania 12 did have the first ever Iron Man match, which is boring on one hand because it did end it on a 0-0 draw to sudden death, but a very good technical sound point of how to start up something new, so to say. And you got 2 great athletes, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. It's a double-edged sword, which is pretty bad because over time, the Iron Man match really did get better in terms of pinfalls and storytelling. But on the other hand, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart show how much cardio, how much ring knowledge you must have to be able to do an Iron Man match. This is something that no wrestler should just be able to put it as a stipulation. You're not going to see Big Show against the Great Khali in an Iron Man match. Nobody wants to see that. The most recent one was Bryan Danielson against MJF, and that was a great Iron Man match right there. So definitely I'll put props for that one. Undertaker versus Diesel was pretty fun, and you know what, the backlog, bro, that was actually pretty fun as well. So definitely B right there. WrestleMania 13, we're gonna put it on the C as well. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's all you need to know. Everything else, not that good. Of course, I did have fun with the Chicago street fight. Was fun, but Bret versus Austin is definitely something that you want to be able to check out. The complete turn from heel to face and face to heel. Undertaker, I really did enjoy him winning the world title in this one. This was his first of many WrestleManias where he would win the world title. But definitely, I would say it's a solid C right there. WrestleMania 14, I'll put it as a B. WrestleMania 14 was the start of the Attitude Era. We definitely, the first few matches weren't that good, but we definitely had the garbage dumpster match between the Outlaws and Cactus Jack and Chainsaw Charlie. The first of the many Brothers of Destruction match between Kane and The Undertaker, and of course, the WrestleMania tradition of beating the crap out of Pete Rose. And we did get that coronation of Austin leading the WWE to the promised land with Mike Tyson. So it was a really great pay-per-view to be able to check out. Wrestling wise, it's not that strong, but it's still something worth to be watching. WrestleMania 15, this is a D. Sorry, but it feels like an ordinary Raw episode. Of course, we did get Austin winning the world title once more, and we did get betrayal, the uprise of Triple H going to the main event. But overall, it's a B show. It's not really a good WrestleMania when it feels like Vince Russo-y, especially some of the matches, which is all car crash and such. So that's a D show. And WrestleMania 2000 is also a D show. It's not better than WrestleMania 15, but it's not good either. So many multi-man matches. Of course, the best ones is the 2 pinfall match for the Intercontinental and the European Championship between Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho. That was a great match. The triple threat ladder match between Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, and the Dudley Boys. Another great match. Main event should have just been The Rock versus Triple H, but to insert the Big Show and Mick Foley and to have every McMahon in the corner, which we've already known that somebody is going to betray someone, definitely not a good WrestleMania. All right, so here it is. Promise, man, it is WrestleMania 17. What can I say about WrestleMania 17? Has not been said before. It is spectacular. Much like how WrestleMania 3 show how it could have been this major event, WrestleMania 17 just inflated at 10 times. Great roster during the 2000 and 2001. You have the TLC2 between the Hardy Boys, the Dudley Boys, and Edge and Christian, along with Lita, Spike Dudley, and Rhino inserted in this. It's so freaking crazy. McMahon versus McMahon, Shane versus Vince, and the pop that Linda McMahon had when she rose up from the chair just to give Vince McMahon a shot to his grapefruits. And of course, Austin versus The Rock, the shocking moment at the ending. The venue is actually another great location. Like, this is WrestleMania at its peak. So definitely you want to be able to check out WrestleMania 17. I highly recommend it. All right, WrestleMania 18. You know, I'm gonna give WrestleMania 18 a B. WrestleMania 18 did have a couple of good matches. Undertaker versus Ric Flair, where Undertaker won his 10th victory. And also great Arn Anderson return. We did have Austin versus Steve Austin versus Scott Hall, which is okay, but The Rock versus Hulk Hogan, man, that was electrifying, and how the crowd changed the aspect of the match. That was very outstanding. Another underwhelming main event between Jericho and Triple H. However, on the accounts of how well WrestleMania has been, where it's been located, how the Icon versus Icon match went, yes, it gets a solid B on my hand. But WrestleMania 19, on the other hand, it's an A. WrestleMania 19, in my opinion, is the wrestling show. You got great wrestlers in the ring. Jericho versus Shawn Michaels, Lesnar versus Kurt Angle for the world title, McMahon versus Hulk Hogan. It's not a wrestling match. By God, that is an amazing street fight between the two, especially bloody evil Vince and Hulk Hogan going wild. Uh, Triple H versus Booker T was good, but the wrong guy won. And the location was actually pretty awesome inside a baseball field, which is the first time for WrestleMania. Yeah, definitely an A show. WrestleMania 20. I'm going to put it a B, just above WrestleMania 10. Just like what WrestleMania 10 is, WrestleMania 20 has several great matches. Maybe at best two. That would be Chris Benoit winning the World Heavyweight title and Eddie Guerrero retaining his WWE title, and the two sharing a moment together. That is a great moment right there. And definitely it's something worth to be watching because it's the final WrestleMania held at Madison Square Garden. Undertaker returning to his dead man persona. We did have first ever Hall of Fame to be held at WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania. I apologize. The Hall of Fame has been held, I believe, sometime around Survivor Series or King of the Ring. But from 20 and here on out, we do celebrate the Hall of Fame, and it was a great first class of Hall of Famers. Something that definitely is worth watching. Also, John Cena's first WrestleMania match. The opener, he did great as well. WrestleMania 21 will also be a B. 3 matches. Angle versus Michaels, Taker versus Orton, and the Money in the Bank ladder match. Those are the 3 matches you definitely want to be able to check out. This is also the coordination of John Cena and Dave Bautista to the main event scene, but their matches, unfortunately, were underwhelming. But those 3 matches I mentioned, definitely you want to be able to go out of your way to be able to watch WrestleMania 21, plus the vignettes that they're doing. We've already finished the vignettes with WrestleMania 39, so it's a great parallel to see what they have done about 18 years later with this. WrestleMania 22. I think I'm going to say that WrestleMania 22, I'm going to say that's a reason why is because we did get the coronation of Rey Mysterio to world title. Of course, this was off the hands of Eddie Guerrero's death, in which Rey Mysterio would pay tribute. He would dedicate his matches to Eddie Guerrero. It even got to the point where it's like, okay, no more exploitation of Eddie's death. Come on, you got to be able to do something different. But if it wasn't Chavo Guerrero, then it would definitely be Eddie. In my opinion, Eddie and Rey and Chavo should have been at least champions. Rey was the world became the world champion in 22. Chavo should have been either the U.S. or the Intercontinental Championship, and maybe it would have made things even more heartbreaking when Chavo betrayed Rey. But you also got Michaels versus McMahon, which is another great street fight. And the Money in the Bank ladder match won by Rob Van Dam, which included, 55-year-old Ric Flair? What's he doing in the ladder match of all stipulations? And also Edge versus Mick Foley in that brutal Extreme Rules fight. So definitely it's a B. WrestleMania 23 is also another B. Did get Dave Bautista versus The Undertaker, which should have main evented. But Michaels versus John Cena was also great. Money in the Bank ladder match, which also another great showing for that. The ECW originals will get their one and only WrestleMania appearances. Of course, WrestleMania 24, which we're gonna get to, has been another appearance for some ECW wrestlers. The start of the stadium or locations, because WrestleMania 23 was held at Ford Field 20 years after WrestleMania 3. And from there on out, it has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger. So another B show. WrestleMania 24, hey, definitely a show I recommend to watch. The Money in the Bank ladder match, another tradition. It is just outstanding. Originally, Jeff Hardy was supposed to win this, but seeing CM Punk winning it was definitely a feel good moment. I was actually behind CM Punk during this time. I seen his presentation, his ring skills, and I was like, yes, this is a guy I want to get behind. This is a guy I want in the top in the very future. But there's also the triple threat match for the WWE Championship between Cena, Triple H, and Randy Orton. That was good. The best celebrity match in over 13 years between Floyd Mayweather and The Big Show. I I don't see much bad off of WrestleMania 24. And of course, Undertaker versus Edge for the world title versus streak. That was actually a great way to close it, especially how Undertaker posed with the world title. It was on fire. Sorry for the pun. WrestleMania 25. I'm definitely gonna put it in the upper C. You know, I could have put it as a B, but I'm gonna put it as an upper C. There hasn't been really not that much good matches, so to say. I would say that the Money in the Bank ladder match was spectacular. And, you know, you do have some shocking moments, such as Rey Mysterio winning the world title in just 25 seconds. John Cena winning the world heavyweight. Oh, actually, I apologize. Rey Mysterio winning the Intercontinental Championship. But John Cena winning the world title in a very good triple threat with the Big Show and Edge, and Taker versus Michaels. My God. That was phenomenal. This is something that you have to watch. I mean, Taker nearly killed himself, literally, by trying to be able to go over the top rope to Michaels, and Michaels pull in the cameraman. God damn it, Goose. You had one job. One job, Goose. But overall, it's a good WrestleMania to watch. WrestleMania 26. You know, I'm gonna put WrestleMania 26 on the B, lower B. I definitely like Edge versus Chris Jericho. That was a great match, and Cena versus Batista was also another good match as well. The main event, Michaels versus Undertaker. While it's not like WrestleMania 25 and had much better matches be held at WrestleMania 25. I mean, remember the Divas Battle Royale guys, where the ladies just come down to the ring under Kid Rock's entrance, and the winner was Santina Marella. You know, Santino and drag. This one's not bad at all. Of course, the women's match is not good. I think that's the worst one out of WrestleMania 26, but they were only given like 5 minutes or like 8 or 10 women to do spot, not giving them enough time to make a story or such. But going back to Michaels versus Undertaker, it was great. Okay, it's a much better storytelling because Michaels desperately want to break the streak, but Undertaker, first off, he declined Michaels' request until that desperation peak at his breaking point, and Undertaker would accept under one condition: Michaels put his career on the line. And you know what? Many people would say that that's Michaels' final match, not the one in Saudi Arabia. This is the final match. It was really good. It was very heartbreaking. I almost failed to mention about WrestleMania 24. Speaking of Michaels, Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair for WrestleMania 24. Another great reason why WrestleMania 24 is in the A. But we're going to be talking about 26. B, Michaels' last match, last WrestleMania match. WrestleMania 27. This is an upper F. None of the matches were very good. Undertaker versus Triple H is the only match you definitely want to be able to check out. Michael Cole versus Jerry the King Lawler was horrendous. The world titles were very underwhelming, with the exception of Edge. Edge could be forgiven because at that time we didn't even know that was his last WrestleMania. And for him to go out on a high note was, one, very surprising, and two, shocking and heartbreaking. It would take him over nearly 10 years for him to return to the ring. So overall, if you take a look at the list of the matches, Cody Rhodes versus Rey Mysterio was good, and the mixed tag team match with Snooki was okay, but Michael Cole versus Jerry the King Lawler and Core in their WrestleMania match, no. You only got to watch one, which is Triple H versus The Undertaker, because the main event of John Cena versus The Miz was fine, but they used that match to promote the next match, which I am going to say is an A. WrestleMania 28. Well, looky here. So, WrestleMania 28 was actually very great. CM Punk defending the world title for the first time against Chris Jericho. The squash match between Sheamus and Daniel Bryan, who's now Bryan Danielson, that really elevated Daniel Bryanson to main event status a few years later. Like, this was the tipping point of the shift of WWE. And The Rock versus John Cena was actually very fun. So definitely is an A show. Right. WrestleMania 29. It pains me to do this, but it's a C show. There are some good matches on this card list. CM Punk versus The Undertaker was a good match. Triple H versus Brock Lesnar was also good as well. Ryback versus Mark Henry was pretty dumb in my opinion. It had a very dumb ending. And Cena versus The Rock was not the main event that we should have. It should have been a triple threat at best between Rock, Cena, and CM Punk. These guys could have sold that match very well. But twice in a lifetime and being held at WrestleMania 29 in New York City. I would say that 30 should have been New York City, but WrestleMania 30. I'll give it a B. No, you know what? No, it's also an A. We got some great moments. Brock Lesnar breaking the streak was very shocking, despite how poor the match is. And also John Cena winning against Bray Wyatt. It was a good match, but I kind of feel like the wrong guy won. But this was the Daniel Bryan show, okay? You had the opening, you had the closing, you had quite possibly the best closer of WrestleMania. A guy that wasn't supposed to be in the main event. It was supposed to be Batista versus Randy Orton. But Daniel Bryan, the fans really want him to be in the main event. I definitely was another one that wanted to see him in the main event. So definitely I'll put it as an A. WrestleMania 31? I'll give it a B. I'll definitely give that one a B because we definitely had several good matches. Seth Rollins versus Randy Orton. We did have a couple of nostalgia with the NWO and DX, and who could forget the main event? It was very good. I wouldn't mind if Roman Reigns would have won the world title and then drop it to Seth Rollins the next night. But definitely Seth Rollins coming in to make the ice of the century. Great moment right there. So definitely it's a B. WrestleMania 32, F. Another F for WrestleMania. First off, this one has been plagued with injuries. John Cena has been injured. Rollins has been injured. Brie Bella, if I'm correct, has been injured. The tag champions have been injured. This is a injury-prone WrestleMania. Of course, we did get the best women's match of all time between Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Sasha Banks for the inaugural Women's Championship, retiring Divas title. That was fantastic. They're the only reason why you gotta watch the main event of actually the only reason why you gotta watch for WrestleMania 32. Zack Ryder getting his WrestleMania moment winning the Intercontinental Championship, but it was only a bittersweet moment because he just dropped about 24 hours to The Miz. That was very painful to watch. And of course, the main event, very difficult to get through. I wouldn't recommend it. WrestleMania 33, I'm gonna put it as a high B. I'm definitely gonna put it as a high B because of several great matches. AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon was surprisingly amazing. Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, their final match at WrestleMania was spectacular. And also a couple of women matches. While short, it was still great. I still loved it. The main event of Roman Reigns versus Undertaker was pretty much of a tearjerker, but a moment in which I felt like it's not his end, and lo and behold, it wasn't really his end. More on that later on. And the WWE title match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt was just laughable. It's laughable, predictable, and laughable in terms of how they did the match. WrestleMania 34, another B show. I'm definitely going to say that this was a great return to New Orleans, another great kickoff. Four-way, actually, no, I apologize. Triple threat intercontinental matchup between Seth Rollins, The Miz, and Finn Balor. Ronda Rousey debut matchup and Kurt Angle's return matchup between against Stephanie McMahon and Triple H was great. I did like John Cena getting squashed by The Undertaker. You know, it was ridiculous, but I did like it. And the women's match between the women's matchup, they're both great. I'm correct. Oscar challenged Charlotte Flair, and Nia Jax challenged Alexa Bliss. So yeah, they were both good. I'll take it with them. Plus, we had the youngest champion in WWE history, Nicholas, winning the world tag title for Braun Strowman. Congratulations, Nick. But world title, if the world title was fine, I would have put it as an A, but it wasn't. But you know what is an A? WrestleMania 35. I'll definitely put WrestleMania 35 over WrestleMania 30. Kofi Mania was spectacular. Most of the matches were bangers. You know, Roman Reigns' return was a great warm feeling because he returned from leukemia. We did have Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar kicking off the show, which is a great way to be able to start up WrestleMania. And the main event of the triple threat women's match between Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch, and Ronda Rousey for both the Raw and the SmackDown women's title. It's a feel-good moment. Problem with I'm gonna have why it's not an S. Some of the matches were pretty tiring. Of course, Kurt Angle, you know, it's great to see him one final time at WrestleMania, but I kind of feel like it would have been better if it was like John Cena or another rising star, Baron Corbin. No disrespect to him, he's actually a good performer in the ring, but not someone that I would think of to retire Kurt Angle. You know, someone for his final match. And it felt so long, like it was unnecessarily long. So it only dropped minimum to an A. WrestleMania 36, the first pandemic WrestleMania, and on top of that, a great nostalgia. I'm gonna give it a B. WrestleMania 36 wasn't that good, but it was still fun. It was a great get together with me and my friends. The Firefly Funhouse and the Boneyard match, the Undertaker's final match against AJ Styles, was extraordinary. It was great to also see Kevin Owens having a WrestleMania moment. It's also great for Drew McIntyre, who was supposed to be the chosen one the first time he came into the WWE, had been released in his redemption road since coming up from NXT. A great run for Drew McIntyre to finally become world champion, and thanking the fans, all of us at home in that empty arena. So spectacular. So for that, I will give it a B. WrestleMania 36, I'm gonna give it a C. Definitely there were a couple of things that I do like. I definitely did like the both main events. Roman Reigns and Bianca Belair winning their respective titles was phenomenal. As a matter of fact, Roman Reigns retained his title, and he did what he promised. He was gonna smash him, stack him, and pin him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. But several matches I just didn't have any feeling for it. I think the women's tag title was definitely one of them. Another that I had a bit of an issue was the world title. The WWE title. I have a feeling that Drew McIntyre should have won that in front of the crowd, but it would have stopped the momentum of Bobby Lashley, which is also pretty understandable. But overall, it was a great return to the normality for WrestleMania 37. Lastly, WrestleMania 38, the one that we just watched, I would definitely give it a B. This is another good WrestleMania to watch. You have the return of Cody Rhodes after his long departure, creating AEW, his run in New Japan and Ring of Honor and in the Indies. A great guy that I've so proud to be able to work with when I was in House of Glory. You have all 3 celebrity matches, amazing. Logan Paul, Johnny Knoxville, and hold on, McAfee. Yes, Pat McAfee. All 3 was amazing. You have Kevin Owens in the main event of WrestleMania 38. I don't care what you say. The main event is the final segment of the show, and that's what he got. He got his WrestleMania main event match against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Spectacular. I think compared to WrestleMania 32, this was a redemption of what happened. A redeeming moment for WrestleMania in Texas. So definitely, I say take a look at WrestleMania 38. Now that it's also 2 nights, it's just so easy to watch. So there it is. That's the tier list for all WrestleManias, ranging from S to F. Hopefully, WrestleMania 39 will be spectacular this weekend. I'm definitely going to be watching with my friends. Hopefully, you guys could be able to have a very safe and a joyous time wherever you are watching WrestleMania 39. Hopefully, it could be an S show matching up with WrestleMania 17. Hopefully, it doesn't become an F show, just like 27, 9, and 32. So, thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about WrestleMania 1 through 38. Is it legit for the listing? What do you guys think? What's going to be happening for WrestleMania 39? Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more tier lists, and also gameplay content. Like this video and share with your friends. This is Xeno, letting you know to be awesome and stay awesome. Take care and have a wonderful time.